Hi everyone, Anthony Path Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new FKA TWIGS mixtape, Caprisongs. This is not an album, but a new mixtape from singer and songwriter and pop and R&B futurist FKA TWIGS, following up 2019's fan favorite Magdalene. In comparison with her very well-received debut, this thing had more pop appeal, more impressive vocal work, as well as more versatility. I still kind of walked away a little bit more enamored with LP1, but TWIGS' ambitions on this record showed up in a big way, to the point where I wondered where they would take her next, and apparently the answer to that is onto this sprawling new mixtape, which, calling this thing a mixtape, I think is more of an aesthetic categorization than it has anything to do with like the real core content of these songs, as this thing features a bunch of new, well-produced, well-performed originals, much like TWIGS' last two projects have been. And sure, there are some production aspects and some song ideas that feel purposefully a little rough around the edges. There are a lot of interludes and spoken word passages and bits of conversation and monologues that kind of fill up the gaps in between these songs. Plus, I think Caprisongs has a very fun and free attitude that TWIGS' last two projects have sort of lacked. It's like she's really allowing herself to let loose on this one, emotionally and stylistically too, because here she's not just delivering her trademark blends of very smooth and left field pop and R&B, as in this track list we're now getting touches of hip-hop, dancehall, hyperpop, and glitch music too. We are getting a lot of vivid, colorful bangers that seem to go in whatever direction TWIGS' artistic whims take her. The opening track, Ride the Dragon, is a sensual but dizzying cut that has a steady beat, but then also all these vocal shots that make me feel like TWIGS is singing right in my ear and bouncing around in my head. It's equally sexy and surreal. Yeah, like me. It's a great but easy-going start to the project that more or less meets the expectations that I think I and many fans have for TWIGS' music. Meanwhile, the following song, Honda, sees her rapping quite casually over this murky nocturnal dance beat. Fantastic vocal chemistry with the feature too. Then Meta Angel is this elegant, beautiful, slow-building number where TWIGS really shows out vocally, hitting some auto-tune passages here and there that are sort of reminiscent of Charli XCX. The song at the core of this one is strong, but what's even more gripping is the way that TWIGS is toying with these really rigid and harsh beats and contrasting that with some very sweet and beautiful vocal work. Tears in the Club was the big single that kind of teased toward the release of this thing. I loved it when I first heard it, and I still love it now. It's just a glistening, blissful, euphoric jam with Abel, TWIGS, and the pianos just sounding angelic. Then Oh My Love sees her narratively really venting on this cut about being kept at a distance by a love that she's looking to take to the next level. The track features this groovy, smooth, pretty R&B instrumental with some light trap touches. Very low-key, very nuanced, but I like how strong TWIGS comes off on this track vocally, singing Everybody Knows That I Want Your Love loudly and boldly. She's bringing a real frustrated attitude to this track that's kind of infectious. And ultimately, the whole thing adds up into an advice song telling listeners not to let someone waste your time or get too wrapped up in one person. Following this, we have Pamplemousse and the Caprisongs interlude, which brings us a couple of minutes of different sounds and spoken word vocal passages kind of clashing together. Really adds overall to this mixtape's very potpourri-like flow. The following Light Beamers I'm a little split on. I do like the super colorful and sporadic vocal work on this one. From the pitched vocal hits to the background harmonies, it's great. The pacing of the song isn't the best as it meanders around the midpoint, but still this one is nowhere near a skip for me. Following this, we have the left field dancehall banger with Shy Girl Poppy Bones, which within a couple of listens quickly became one of my favorite tracks of the year so far. TWIGS and Shy Girl, in terms of their respective styles and aesthetics, I can't think of a better musical pairing in 2022. Which Way has some quirky beats and vocal licks that are kind of cool but go nowhere fast. The song's not labeled as an interlude, but it sure feels like one. Then the song Jealousy surprisingly sees TWIGS TWIGS going into more of an Afrobeats direction. And much like every other track here, like great grooves, pristine colorful production, fantastic just textured perks, impressive vocal work too, and at the end of all of it, she takes this musical style and really weaves it into her own vibe. Careless is one of the few tracks here that instrumentally to me felt a little thin, a little hollow. Instrumentally, this one just does not play off as lush as many other tracks here, and on top of it, some of the core elements like that squeaky falsetto lead that takes up a lot of the track just are a little grating. The synth melody lines are great, and Daniel Caesar's feature on this one did surpass my expectations, so it's not a total loss by any means. The busy but subtle beat, pianos, and strong vocal vibrato on Minds of Men very much reads like a Bjork-esque meditation on the male psyche and the politics of love. TWIGS waxing poetic on patriarchy, on Mother Nature, on the balance of the genders. Not just an enchanting song, but I think it adds up to a pretty profound statement too. Then, even as we near the end of this record, TWIGS is not done throwing out left hooks. The song Darjeeling is a beautiful twinkling piece of art pop, which is underscored by these bits of UK drill bass. Georgia Smith and Unknown T are great additions to the track too. Thank You Song is a very pretty and beautiful layered note to end this thing on, and all around I think this is a very impressive mixtape. Yeah, it's kind of disjointed, but there are so many strong individual songs and moments throughout this thing. Plus, you've got to give credit to the fact that there are some very consistent themes of love and heartbreak throughout this thing, that even if there is a lot of different sounds and styles being approached here, it does kind of bring all of it together in a way. It's definitely not her most cohesive project, that's for sure, but I will say this, this is easily TWIGS' most catchy and fun project to date, and if that's not enough to make it entertaining, I don't know what is. I'm feeling a decent 2 strong 8 on this one. Transition, have you given this mixtape a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like, please subscribe, and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head, it's another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, FKA TWIGS, forever.